Hello friends, and not yet friends, welcome back to Mary's Test Kitchen, where we're making vegan food fun again. If you want to help me in this quest, please consider becoming a channel member. Info in the description. Over the next 10 minutes, I'll show you how to take some basic pantry staples and turn them into delicious cake donuts. Baked, so you can have vegan donuts ASAP without the cleanup and hassle associated with deep frying. Being able to conjure up this deliciousness with so little effort and time is a pretty useful power. Will you use that power for good or evil? Let me know in the comments below. Let's start with bright, fun confetti donuts. They have a soft and fluffy vanilla cake base with sprinkles throughout like a funfetti cake, topped with simple white glaze and more sprinkles. Start by setting your oven to 350 degrees to preheat. Then combine all-purpose flour, baking powder, sugar, salt, and a pinch of nutmeg and mix very well. Nutmeg is optional, but it does make everything more donutty. To be honest, without deep frying, what we're really making are glorified cupcakes shaped like donuts. Don't come for me. The nutmeg helps. Then add the wet ingredients: almond milk, oil, and vanilla extract. Sometimes I'll add a tablespoon of lemon juice to brighten the flavor. If you do, just decrease the almond milk by the same amount. Fold to combine the wet and dry, but do not overmix. Just fold with a rubber spatula until there are no big white clumps. A few little lumps here or there is quite all right. Like in life, we need a few bumps to make things interesting. Finally, add sprinkles. Some sprinkles are not vegan friendly due to insect ingredients. Yup, true. Ew. But don't freak out. Just Google vegan sprinkles and you'll find lots of options. I'll add a link or two in the description as well. Transfer that thick batter into a piping bag. You're gonna need a donut pan for this part. It doesn't work on a cookie sheet, so invest. This pan is supposedly non-stick, but it will still stick a little, so I like to add a little oil with a pastry brush. Pipe in the batter. You'll have plenty of batter for 6 donuts. I'm overfilling a little, and you'll see what I mean later, but I do like my donuts looking generous rather than skinny. By the way, if you don't have a piping bag, you can ever so carefully spoon the batter in. Don't just pour it from the bowl, but scoop a little with a spoon and spoonful by spoonful drop the batter in along the sides of the mold. These go in the oven for 15 minutes. Meanwhile, let's make a simple glaze. Combine a cup and a half of icing sugar with a couple tablespoons of almond milk and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Sugar is another thing that is sometimes not vegan, but it's not hard to find vegan sugar. People always comment whenever I have sugar in a recipe, so I typed up a note. Link in the description. Now, let's not fight over something so sweet. After your donuts come out of the oven, let them cool for about 10 minutes or so. They'll come out easier if they're cool. Just lightly twist them with the barest pressure to release. These cake donuts are delicate, so dipping them in your glaze is a bit of a risky move. You see, I live dangerously. But you can just as well spoon over the glaze. It'll set in about 20 to 30 minutes, more or less depending on the humidity, so before that, add sprinkles. You can layer the glaze for a thicker, more opaque look too. Also, I found that it's better to glaze the top sides of the donuts rather than the bottoms. The bottoms tend to soak up the glaze before it sets. And there we have confetti cake donuts, ready for any afternoon party or casual get-together. But maybe you're feeling fancier. How about some buttercream-filled Tuxedo donuts? Chocolate cake donuts filled with vegan buttercream, covered in smooth dark chocolate and lashings of white sugar glaze. Perfect for adult tea time, or anytime because there are no rules. We'll start the same way as before, but we'll use less all-purpose flour and add cocoa powder. Mix, 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 mix. Then add the wet ingredients and fold in just like before. You'll transfer to a piping bag and you guessed it, pipe in the batter and think chocolate, chocolate, chocolate. Do not think any other thoughts. Pop those in the oven for 15 minutes and meanwhile, let's make some vegan buttercream. It's basically like making regular buttercream but with vegan butter. As always, I'm using Earth Balance buttery spread. You want 1 part vegan butter, 2 parts icing sugar, and a half teaspoon of vanilla extract, or rum extract might be fancier, or almond extract might be nice. These are your vegan Tuxedo donuts, and there are no rules. By the way, if you're making this alongside me and it looks like you have less in your bowl, you're not just seeing things. I made way more than I needed to. You'll know I'm constantly forgetting things and making like small little mistakes when I'm filming, so when in doubt, see the printable recipe linked in the description or head straight to marystestkitchen.com, where I post everything, and then you can sign up for the newsletter, which hasn't actually started publishing yet, but it will eventually sometime with, exclusive content and exciting news. When your buttercream is nice and fluffy, transfer to a piping bag with a tip of your choice, and then stick this in the fridge so it stays firm. The white glaze will be just like the one from the confetti donuts, just a smaller portion. A 1/4 cup of icing sugar, a teaspoon of almond milk, and you don't have to add vanilla to this one. When your donuts are done, let them cool a bit just like before and then transfer them to a wire rack. You do want these to cool completely before we can fill and glaze them, otherwise the buttercream will melt right in. You can speed things up by sticking them in the freezer for a few minutes. When they're cool enough, use your best serrated bread knife to slice through the middle like bagels. The chocolate cake is delicate, so go slow and take care. Then fill the middles with your vegan buttercream. Be generous because some of it will get absorbed into the sponge of the cake. Is this the picture of generosity? No, I don't really know why I was so stingy while filming. You can use more. When you've added the maximum amount of buttercream, add the tops. If it's summer where you are and it's sweltering, maybe transfer these to the fridge while you make the chocolate glaze. 3/4 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips go in the microwave. Make sure you get the ones without milk ingredients. Heat with 30-second intervals for up to 1.5 minutes, maybe up to 2 minutes max. They'll keep their shape, so you might be tempted to go longer, but don't overheat. Add a little refined coconut oil and stir in. And you should have this smooth melted chocolate. Alternatively, you can melt everything together in a double boiler if you don't have a microwave. Just don't let the chocolate get wet or it'll seize. Now we're ready to glaze. Just spoon it over. The donuts will be too delicate for dipping. Since they're cold, the glaze should set fairly quickly. Don't be afraid to add multiple layers. Finally, drip the white glaze over, moving your spoon over quickly to get thin, graceful lines. Elegant, refined. Oh, we're feeling fancy today. But make sure you have some napkins when you eat these. And that's it. Super easy vegan baked cake donuts. I hope this video was helpful or gave you some inspiration. Please give me a thumbs up if you did like it, and subscribe for more if you haven't already. Maybe check out my other vegan donut recipes if you haven't already. A baked high protein sort of healthy donut without any refined sugar, or one of my more legit deep fried donuts like this maple cream. Speaking of deep fried things, thank you so much to everyone who has tried my vegan ginger beef recipe, especially if you tagged me in the pic over on Instagram. Y'all have done such an amazing job. And you know what else is good? You, for coming back to my channel. Even though I sporadically take breaks from YouTube because of my ongoing health stuff. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. And with that, I'm going to start working on the next video now. Something crunchy, something snacky. Bye for now.